Welcome back to D-Tech, guys. Here on the bench, I've got an FRM out of a BMW, an E90 chassis, and going over doing a repair for one of my buddies. And I just out of curiosity, it's been a while since I've done one. I have previous videos on doing FRM repairs on the channel, so not really trying to exploit too much, but lastly, it started with showing you how to manually basically rectify the corruption through manual settings, and then there was updates to the Autel where you can basically do like a one-click type of repair for the FRM like other programmers do. And so I've got videos off of that. I would probably encourage to maybe watch the first one because it kind of explains the whole scenario. But now, again, not to oversaturate the market or YouTube with FRM repair videos, the one thing that I have realized right now, again, it's been even a while since I've done an FRM. So out of curiosity, I started to poke around, and I went the manual way just to see what kind of information I'm able to pull. If you watch that first video, when you have an actual corrupted or non-working FRM due to corruption, because you can have an FRM that fails in other ways and is not corrupted. So to verify that, you go into the programmer, and I guess I can quickly show you the path. Again, it's all in that first video, but you go into the programmer section, and then you go in the chip read write. It brings you to this menu. The updated way, you hit body repair. It kind of, so here, let me show you. There's only BMW because it's targeted to FRM stuff here. And this one, I guess I could explain or show. You want to grab your cover and see what kind of lighting option or equipment, let's call it, you have, just to make sure you pull up the correct option here. As you can see, LED, and they're AHL LED. So I'm just going to go with E90, 91 LED, so on and so forth. So I would pick this one, and this is the basically thing that I want to see if I can get working properly today. The way that Autel does it, either this one-click button way or the manual way that I show in the first video, it gets the corruption basically wiped out and brings this back to life where you can put information back into the EEPROM. Because when it's corrupted, you cannot access the EEPROM. And so it brings it back to life. EEPROM is then writable either by writing a file through a programmer or installing it in the vehicle and doing actual programming via OBD, as I've shown before. The issue is that when it does the repair, it basically leaves it not proper to this actual vehicle VIN and that it came out of. And so what I mean is that you'll install it, you'll get operation back as far as like lights and windows, but it won't be 100% correct because it's not coded to that car, or the EEPROM is not for that specific car. And so you get basically improper window operations. The biggest sign, you'll hit your window switch for the driver's door and the passenger window will go down, and vice versa. And so it works, it just acts funky, not correct. You rectify it by programming. And so because of that, it just adds one extra step to the whole procedure of performing this repair, which can be a little bit of annoying Or if I'm doing a mail-in service, then I still have to tell them to perform coding once they get it. So I want to see if today I can perform this and avoid that one extra step, because I believe the Autel now has the option to do it, and it's not really, let's call it, put out there as far as that. And so this screen basically is telling you that it will basically partition the chip and overwrite the original data. And this can cause, again, that configuration mismatch, which is not a proper coding for the vehicle you're going to be working. It just brings it back to life. And so it's telling you you're going to have to do that extra step. And so all you would do is hit start, it fixes it, so on and so forth. Then you unhook it and bring it to the car and code it. But I got curious, as I said, and I'll get you to the manual way, as I showed in the first video. So from this screen, you hit Other, pick BMW, and find, again, your type or style. And this one, E-Class, FRM, and that chip. And here we go. And so when it becomes corrupted, the EEPROM's not readable, and then the D-flash becomes populated. If it is not corrupted, you'll be able to read EEPROM, and there's nothing populated in the D-flash. P-flash will always read whether it is corrupted or not. So it's not a good measuring stick to see if it's corrupted. So what I did today was right away go to D-flash to see if there's anything populated in there. If so, then I know it's corrupted. In the past, the Autel was not able to actually pull data from a corrupted FRM that does populate the D-flash. It just, for some reason, wasn't able to. But the fact that you cannot read the EEPROM was the other telltale sign when using this programmer. And if you are able to pull D-flash, which we just did right there, you do have an option now to be able to rectify and fix this into the correct, let's call it, coding. And so it all has to be done with the data that is populated in the D-flash. And so being that now, today, I was able to pull data, lets me want to go ahead and try to see if I can get that done and film it and bring it to you guys. So once you do that and pull data, save it, and that's what you're going to use to fix it. I've already saved it, so I'll cancel. But I will show you, if you try to read the EEPROM, what it pulls up. And again, this is the sign of corruption. There you go. So that's the error message that you get. In the past, a similar, basically exact message would pull up in the D-flash. So you used to have this message both for D-flash and EEPROM, sorry. And but you could still do a repair, because you would go to this right partition option and fix it. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and try to see if we can get this done to where we don't need any coding. But before we do that, we have to basically wipe out the EEPROM, kind of blank it out, get the corruption gone out of there. That way it's able to accept new data after being basically repaired or wiped out. That's the only way any of these methods will work. Now you can do that, as I showed in the first video, through that manual way. You have to hit the right partition, set up your settings for the chip, and it'll wipe it out and write it all, make it blank. That way you can program it. Or if you do it this body repair, it'll do it all for you. It'll change the settings, whatnot, and it'll actually put a file in there. And so first and foremost, I'm gonna repair it, and I'll show you why you need coding. And the easiest way to do that is we'll go the this easy way. Again, that message we had earlier, we'll hit OK. And it's as easy as hit start. All right, so let's go ahead and save this. I'm going to call it basically kind of like a repaired file. Okay, and so we will continue on with the procedure. All right, so it is now a let's call it uncorrupted FRM that is now usable. Now, one way to prove that out, I believe I showed in other videos, is to go in and read the EEPROM. We'll do that the manual way. If you remember, when it is corrupted, you cannot read the EEPROM. If we pull data, then it's successfully repaired. There we go. So, just like I've showed before, now you have a fixed FRM that you can throw back in the car and get your windows working. But now, let's save this. I'll show you what's going on. Okay, so I've saved that, and now let me show you the reason for coding. So if I bring up that file, here is that file, and let's look for a VIN number, because there are, in case you're not aware, the FRM keeps mileage and also VIN number. That's why you get a manipulation dot if you throw a used one in there. If I remember right, I think it's towards the bottom. So here is the VIN number. We're going to count from here. So you want the last 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So SD98180. Take that. Punch that in. There we go. And with that, we are able to see what Autel has repaired this FRM with. So it throws some sort of data in there just to get it basically going, and that's what you have to basically overwrite with the proper programming and coding. And so we clearly see that the market is China. It's an N46. That might be diesel. I'll have to look that up. And it's a 318, and it's from LCI, so on and so forth. But again, it's an E90. It's been rectified. Some random file's been thrown in there, and this is going to be a right-hand drive. That's why your windows operate opposite when you hit the Windows switch when you install this and don't code it. So because of that, we've got to rectify this. You know, again, the whole purpose of this video is up to this point. Let's get this fixed here in-house without a vehicle and without having to program it, so on and so forth. And I'm going to show you the ability to do that with the Autel now that we can pull the D-Flash file. So you're going to need to get a USB drive. Install that in the Autel up top. There you go. And with that, let's back out. Alright, so now that it's in there, let's remove this and bring it over to the PC. Alright guys, so once you've got that file in your drive, bring it over to the PC. Like I said, you're going to go to this website, which I will put the link in the description for you guys to use. And you're simply just going to follow the steps. This here takes a D-flash and basically fixes it. It turns it into a usable EEPROM with that original vehicle's FRM VIN number and coding and so on and so forth. At least that's my understanding. So hit accept, then upload, and almost instantly and right away it basically ends up fixing and converting it into an EEPROM. As you can see, it gives us a VIN number, so on and so forth. And then with that, you go hit download. You download it onto your computer, back onto your drive, move it over to the Autel. Alright, back out one more time. We'll go to the Autel and then write it to the FRM. So now we want to go back to the programmer. We are still connected to the FRM and we are still in the EEPROM. Now you want to make sure you write it back to the EEPROM, not the D-flash. So since we are here, let's hit write. And let's see, hopefully this works out and we get it going properly. Alright, so it is now written. The EEPROM is written with the corrected, fixed file that we got off the internet. And just for giggles, let's read it, pull a VIN, and verify. So we go back to read. And we'll go ahead and save this. I'll get you back on here and go over to the hex data and pull a VIN number. So we'll go all the way towards the bottom. That's where these FRMs have the VIN number. Alright, so here we go. Let's punch that in. And so there's the VIN. Let's see the options. And it is now, so a US market. It's an N51, which I'm pretty sure that is the engine my buddy told me. And there we go. It's a 328 sedan. Let's see, 11 of 09. So there we go. We have now successfully basically turned this to a rectified and fixed FRM, and with what we performed online and everything, we no longer will need to do some programming or coding, and everything is fixed here in-house on the bench with no issues. So hopefully, again, this was useful, insightful, and helps you guys complete the job with one less step, and that you guys learned something. With that, thank you for watching, and that's it on this one.